6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news, edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The President arrives in New York to attend the 78th UN General Assembly. The Prime Minister says plans are underway to reduce the school study period by 1 year. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna stresses the need to address the unemployment crisis during the state enterprise restructuring process. The WHO's chief pushes China for full access to determine COVID's origins. State Minister Ranjit Siamalapitiya reiterates that Sri Lanka's financial status will not be downgraded under any circumstances during the grading procedure of the IMF. Export income to go up by 10 to 15% during this year. The 8th South China Sea Buddhist Shenzhen Roundtable to be held in Sri Lanka. In news overseas, Sudan conflict, landmark skyscraper in Khartoum engulfed in flames. In sports news, cricket, Sahan will lead Lanka men's team for the Asian Games. Following his participation in the G77 and China summit in Cuba, President Ranil Wickremesinghe arrived in New York earlier today to attend the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly in the United States of America. This session themed rebuilding trust and reigniting global solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 Agenda and its sustainable development goals towards peace, prosperity, progress and sustainability for all is scheduled to take place from the 18th to the 21st of September. President Ranil Wickremesinghe is slated to address the session on the 21st of September, where he will deliver a special speech according to the PMD. Furthermore, the President will actively participate in the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals Summit, where global leaders will outline strategies for transformative and accelerated actions towards 2030, the statement said. The chief of the World Health Organization urged Beijing to offer more information on the origins of COVID-19 and is ready to send a second team to probe the matter, the Financial Times reported on Sunday. We are pressing China to give full access and we are asking countries to raise it during their bilateral meetings to urge Beijing to cooperate, the WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus told the newspaper. The WHO chief's comments come as health authorities and pharmaceutical companies across the world have been racing to update vaccines to combat newer emerging coronavirus variants. Ghebreyesus has for a long time been pressing China to share its information about the origins of COVID-19, saying that until that happens, all hypotheses remain on the table. The virus was first identified in the Chinese city of Wuhan in December 2019, with many suspecting it spread in a live animal market before fanning out around the world and killing nearly 7 million people. The 8th South China Sea Buddhist Shenzhen Roundtable is scheduled to take place in Sri Lanka from the 24th of October to the 26th, the President's Media Division reports. This event will be hosted by the Hunupitiya Gangaramaya Temple in Colombo. The opening ceremony, chaired by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, will be held on the 24th of October at the Bandaranaike International Conference Hall in Colombo. A preliminary discussion regarding the organizational aspects of this Buddhist roundtable was conducted at the President's office. Senior advisor to the President on National Security and the Chief of the Presidential Staff Sagar Rathnayake presided over this session. The Buddhist Shenzhen Roundtable in the South China Sea region has been organized by the Hongfa Temple in Shenzhen, China since 2016. It serves as an annual international platform for discourse, emphasizing the theme of walk together in harmony and gather the wisdom of the Silk Road. Notably, this year's event will be hosted in Sri Lanka with the participation of representatives from 22 countries focusing on the Silk Road theme. During the discussion, the potential roles of relevant government institutions in ensuring the success of this conference were also deliberated upon. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Negotiations are underway to reduce the study period by 1 year so that children can graduate 1 year earlier, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said. He said exams should be conducted on time and results should be given on time, which will lead to their graduation 1 year earlier. The Prime Minister expressed these views while attending the prize-giving ceremony of Vishaka Vidyalaya recently. After leaving college, we entered the university, which is a center of access to universal knowledge, to join the knowledge of the world and add special values of education to a country. That is a difference between a college and a university. As students, you have had a tough time. Recently, the country faced a very difficult time. Currently, we are recovering from that crisis. With the strong commitment to expand the fields of imparting knowledge, new fields have emerged. Any individual can join the different fields and serve the country, he said. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya reiterates that Sri Lanka's financial status will not be downgraded under any circumstances during the grading procedure of the IMF. A long-term economic strengthening process is being implemented at present. Many effective measures have been taken accordingly. The State Minister also said that local debt restructuring processes are being carried out successfully. The chairman of the Export Development Board, Dr. Kinsley Bernard, expresses confidence that the export income will go up by 10 to 15% during this year compared to the previous year. The existing economic market conditions of some foreign countries have been an obstacle to this process. However, alternative measures have been taken to address this issue. There is a vast potential to improve performance on tea, rubber and garment products, the chairman added.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna stresses the need to address the unemployment crisis during the state enterprise restructuring process. The government should find alternative solutions to those who lose their jobs during the restructuring processes. The 45 to 50-year age group faces the major challenge in finding suitable jobs. Therefore, the government should mediate and solve this issue without any delay, the SLPP added. The General Secretary of the SLPP, Parliamentarian Sagar Karyavasam, said the government should help the individuals who find it difficult to find jobs.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau has taken effective measures to introduce a new insurance scheme for migrant workers working in Jordan. The employers who employ female workers should enroll on this scheme. The female employees who go abroad for work should register themselves to the Foreign Employment Bureau. This process will give more protection to the female workers who go abroad, especially to countries like Jordan.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
It's the power to live life your way. The power to be a trendsetter. Power to you with digital banking from Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank. Our interest is in you.
In world news headlines, Sudan conflict landmark skyscraper in Khartoum engulfed in flames. Libya, Greek rescuers among those killed in road collision. The US and Chinese senior officials meet, possibly to lay groundwork for summit. Buildings have caught fire in Sudan's capital after heavy fighting between the army and rival forces. Videos posted online on Sunday showed the iconic Great Nile Petroleum Oil Company tower engulfed in flames. This is truly painful, said Tagrid Abden, an architect of the building, in a post on X, formerly known as Twitter. At least 3 members of a Greek rescue team and 3 members of a Libyan family have died in a road collision. The rescuers were among a team who were travelling on a bus to the flood-ravaged city of Derna on Sunday when their vehicle collided with a car carrying the family. 2 others in the car and 8 others on the bus were seriously injured, according to a Libyan official. Senior officials of the United States and China have confirmed that the two sides will maintain high-level exchanges. The officials may have discussed a possible summit of their leaders later this year. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and Chinese Foreign Minister and Communist Party Political Bureau member Wang Yi met in Malta over the weekend. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. Sudan conflict, landmark skyscraper in Khartoum engulfed in flames. Libya, Greek rescuers among those killed in road collision. The US and Chinese senior officials meet, possibly to lay groundwork for summit.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
This message is for all the kids between the ages of 4 and 16 who love to draw. Commercial Bank's Arunalu Sittam is back once again. This time, the competition is also open to Sri Lankan kids currently living abroad. First, second and third place prizes will be awarded along with special merit and merit certificates. For more information, visit the Commercial Bank website. We have so many prizes to be won.
Development News.
Giving a major destination boost for tourism, Sri Lanka has been placed 13th out of 50 in the 50 best islands in the world for 2023 to visit for 2023 by the global travel website Big 7 Travel. Sri Lanka has been off the tourism radar for a few years now due to protests, economic crises and the pandemic, but its doors are now wide open. There are 1,000 reasons to visit the beguiling island, not least its friendly people, flavorful food, endless beaches and timeless ruins. Loop around the island and you'll tick off tea plantations, elephant-filled wildlife parks, 1,000-year-old ruins and endless strips of golden sand, the website said. And now in sports news, in cricket, all-rounder Sahana Ratchige will lead the Sri Lanka men's cricket team at the Asian Games, which will commence in China from the 23rd of September. Sahana Ratchige, who was a last-minute addition to the Asia Cup final to replace Mahesh Tikshana but couldn't find a place in the final 11, got a chance to captain the Sri Lanka team for the first time in this T20 format tournament at the Asian Games. Sahana Ratchige, the NCC all-rounder who played in the World Cup qualifying round in Zimbabwe recently, is in good touch with the bat and ball, while experienced Ashin Bandara is also among the 15-member team for the China tour. In tennis news, Great Britain reached the Davis Cup finals last 8 in a remarkable fashion as Dan Evans and Neil Skupski saved 4 match points before winning a nerve-wracking decider against France. In front of a partisan British crowd in Manchester, Evans and Skupski beat Nicholas Mahut and Edward Roger Vaslin 1-6, 7-6, 7-4, 7-6, 8-6. Evans won from a set and a breakdown in the singles, but Cameron Norrie lost.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
People's Leasing and Finance PLC concluded the first quarter of the fiscal year 2023-24 with a year-on-year increase in profit of 80.9% in the midst of a challenging economic landscape. PLC's top-line interest income recorded an impressive 10.2%, reaching 7,465 million rupees, owing to the increased investment income during the quarter. However, the company's net interest income showed a modest fall when compared to the first quarter of 2022-2023.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dagapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news, Germany's world-famous labelling solution company Bentlage has signed up with the Board of Investments BOI to set up a project to produce heat transfer print papers for direct and indirect exports. Earlier, Bentlage President Christopher Hetledge and Director Hans Wonkma met with officials at the Board of Investment to discuss the modalities in setting up an operation in Sri Lanka.
Weather report.
The Met Department says showers or thundershowers may occur at times in the western, Sabaragamu and northern provinces and in the Gala, Matra and Puttalama districts. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters are likely at some places. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the eastern, Uva, central and north central provinces and in the Hambantota district during the evening or night. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This weather report was issued at 4:30 a.m. Further Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. That was the report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The President arrives in New York to attend the 78th UN General Assembly. The Prime Minister says plans are underway to reduce school study period by 1 year. The Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramana stresses the need to address the unemployment crisis during the state enterprise restructuring process. The WHO chief pushes China for full access to determine COVID's origins. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya reiterates that Sri Lanka's financial status will not be downgraded under any circumstance during the grading procedure of the IMF. Export income to go up by 10 to 15% during this year. The 8th South China Sea Buddhist Shenzhen Roundtable to be held in Sri Lanka. In news overseas, Sudan conflict, landmark skyscraper in Khartoum engulfed in flames. In sports news cricket, Sahan will lead Lanka men's team for the Asian Games. That concludes this news broadcast.